You're in the middle of an argument. Your voice is steady, your point is clear. And then out of nowhere, your eyes start to burn. You feel the tears coming and you are furious about it because you are not sad. You are angry. And now you look like you're falling apart when what you actually want to do is stand your ground. If that has ever happened to you, you have probably walked away thinking something is wrong with you. There isn't. Crying when you're angry is one of the most misunderstood things the human body does. People around you read those tears as weakness. Sometimes you read them that way too. But the truth is almost the opposite. Angry tears are usually a sign that you feel something so strongly your body ran out of other ways to hold it. Let me start by killing the myth. Tears are not proof that you are sad, fragile, or losing the argument. Tears are a release valve. Your body cries when the intensity of a feeling gets too high to contain, and it does not actually care whether that feeling is grief or fury. When emotion crosses a certain threshold, the valve opens. That's it. The tears are about pressure, not about being weak. So here's a question worth sitting with. When you cry mid-argument, are you breaking down? Or is your body finally admitting how much you actually care about what's happening? To understand this, you have to look at what anger really is. We treat anger like a primary emotion, a thing that arrives on its own. It usually isn't. Anger is more like a bodyguard. It shows up to protect something softer standing behind it. Hurt, fear, the feeling of being unseen, dismissed, or betrayed. By the time you're angry, there is almost always a more vulnerable feeling underneath the one that got there first. And that is exactly why the tears come. When you're angry, both feelings are active at once. The hot, loud armor of anger on the surface and the tender, wounded feeling underneath. Two powerful emotions stacked on top of each other. The pressure doubles. Your body reaches for the fastest release it has, and that release is tears. So you cry not because the sadness won, but because everything is happening at full volume at the same time. There's a physical layer to this too. When you get angry, your body floods with stress energy. Your heart speeds up, your muscles tense, adrenaline surges. That is a lot of raw activation with nowhere to go, especially if you're trying to stay composed and not yell. Crying becomes a pressure release for that flood. In a strange way, the tears are your nervous system trying to bring you back down from a spike it can't sustain. Now here's the part that gets personal, and it explains why some people cry with anger far more than others. A lot of it comes down to what you were allowed to feel growing up. If you were raised in a home where anger was dangerous, where raising your voice got you punished, shut down, or shamed, you learned early that anger was not safe to show. So your system found a workaround. Instead of coming out as heat, the anger leaks out as tears, which felt safer, more acceptable, less likely to get you in trouble. You essentially trained yourself to convert a forbidden emotion into a permitted one. Let me ask you this. Were you ever the kid who was told good girls don't get angry, or that boys who cry are weak, or that slamming a door would get you grounded, but crying quietly in your room was fine because if so, your tears today might be carrying decades of anger that never had anywhere else to go? Let's name the signs that this is your pattern so you can recognize it in the moment instead of judging yourself for it. The first sign. You only cry when you feel powerless. Not during small annoyances, but specifically when someone has more power than you or when you feel trapped and unheard. That's a clue that the tears are tied to helplessness, not just anger. The second sign. The tears make you angrier. You feel them coming, you resent them, and now you're angry at the situation and angry at yourself for crying about it. That double frustration is a hallmark of anger tears. The third sign. You often can't find your words in the moment. The feeling is so big it jams the part of your brain that makes sentences, and the tears fill the space where the argument was supposed to be. Later in the shower or the car, the perfect response finally arrives. The fourth sign. Afterward, you feel exposed and embarrassed like you revealed too much. Because in a way, you did. The tears showed the tender thing you were trying to keep hidden behind the anger. If those are familiar, here's how to work with this instead of fighting it. First, stop treating the tears as the problem to solve. The moment you start scolding yourself for crying, you add a second layer of stress, and that only opens the valve wider. Let the tears be information. They are telling you this matters to me more than I realized. That is worth knowing, not worth hating. Second, in the moment, buy yourself a pause. You do not have to win the argument through a wall of tears. It is completely okay to say, I need a minute, this matters to me, and I want to say it clearly. Stepping out for 60 seconds lets the physical spike come down so your words can come back. You are not retreating, you are regulating. Third, and this is the deeper work, start getting curious about the feeling underneath the anger. Next time the tears come, ask yourself quietly, what am I really protecting right now? Is it that I feel disrespected? Unseen? Afraid this person will leave? When you can name the softer feeling directly, you give it another way out, and it doesn't have to force its way through your tear ducts. And here's the reframe I most want you to keep. Crying when you're angry does not mean you can't handle conflict. It means you feel conflict deeply, and you were probably never taught that your anger was allowed to simply exist. People who cry when they're angry are often people with a strong sense of justice and a tender heart underneath the fire. That combination is not a malfunction. It's a depth most people never develop. So the goal is not to become someone who never cries. The goal is to understand what your tears are saying so they stop feeling like a betrayal and start feeling like a message. Your body isn't undermining you in those moments. It's telling the truth